folks, Thomas Henson here with ThomasHenson.com, and today is another episode of Big Data, Big Questions. Alright, so today is all about the day in the shoes of a Python data engineer. So this question comes in from YouTube, so YouTube here in the comment section below. If you have a question of your own, pop it down here and I'll do the best I can to answer that question here on Big Data, Big Questions. Also, go to ThomasHenson.com/big-questions. Throw me a question. I'll do the best I can to answer those. I'm getting through all these questions right now. And so today's question, like I said, coming in from YouTube. Hey Thomas, I wanted to ask you a question about data engineering because I currently work as a software developer and I'm getting my Master's of Science in Data Science. I'm in love with using Python. Awesome choice, right? I mean, huge market for Python. And I want to continue to write a ton of code in the future. As a data engineer, do you find yourself writing a bunch of code and developing software for managing your data? Or is it more glue scripts to get some data from one place to another? How would you break down your typical day in terms of tasks? So, great question. I think this is a good opportunity to jump in and talk a little bit about what specifically goes into being a data engineer. Like how does the day kind of go as we progress? As we go through this question, keep in mind here we're going to be talking about specifically the data engineer from the perspective of more of the software, right? The data developer, maybe even the machine learning engineer. It's kind of the focus, I think, in 2019 and beyond. So a big role there. Not so much the administrator. We've talked about the Hadoop administrator before. So let's jump right in and talk a little bit about, what the day, what my day looked like as a data engineer, kind of where I was working. So the very first thing that you do as an amazing data engineer, or at least this data engineer did, was coffee. It's coffee. Coffee is a main requirement. I don't care if you have flexible work schedule and you come in at 10, come in at 12, or maybe I'm an early bird. I used to try to get in around 6:30, maybe even 7 o'clock Central Time. Coffee was my main objective for the morning. So go through coffee, depending on your workstation, how that works. I had a lot of security at the place I was at, so man, everything was encrypted and my machine just took forever to kind of load my settings and everything. So coffee, come in, turn the computer on, coffee in my hand, and as I logged in, the very first thing I did was I looked at Jira. So I looked at Jira, saw what I was working on. So might not be using Jira, maybe it's not as popular as it used to be, but Jira is what I was using around to find out, okay, what stories, what user stories or use cases I'm working on, and kind of going through those. Might remember what I had going on from the day before, but like I said, I always try to go into Jira and check it because most people are working on flexible work schedules, so I might have some people working later at night, and like I said, I'm the early bird, so I would come in and see, okay, where are we at on a task? Is there something, did somebody grab the task that I was going to be working on, or answer a question, or some of the comments I had below. Next, typically, I came in early, so if I was getting to some code, or I worked a lot with people that were on Eastern time zone, so like I said, I was on Central, so some of the people on the Eastern time zone, we might have, go ahead and have our stand-up meeting. So in our stand-up meeting, it was not a stand-up meeting. I mean, I never stood up, I was all, never stand up. No, I was at my computer, and we were all on the phone, and we kind of go through where we were. Another main reason that I would come in and check Jira there. Now to the real question, kind of where you were going with trying to figure it out. Jump into coding. So a couple different approaches from a data engineering perspective around, are you going to use glue scripts or are you not? And I'm not going to give the typical data science answer where say it depends. I'm going to say you're probably going to use both, right? There's going to be instances where you are pulling and just kind of munging and pulling different data sources to be able to pull in and port and do those portions. A lot of those are going to be heavy focused maybe on the data admin perspective, but I mean, as a data engineer, that's part of your role. I mean, you're going to spend, I think the stat is like 80% of your time is spent doing non-data engineering work. I mean, so that's a real stat. It's not a made-up stat by ThomasHenson.com, right? That's verified out there. What you're doing in that 80 to, that maybe let's call it 70 to 80%. What you're doing in that specific time is you're finding data sets, you're cleaning data sets, munging your data sets, but then also like testing out the interoperability. So like if you're using TensorFlow or a newer version, on your GPU server. You're just kind of doing some of that interoperability pieces there. That's where you're going to find, doing some glue scripts and being able to pull and really, doing a lot of kind of regular expression kind of work, maybe. Just like I said, depends on the data set, what you're doing from that perspective. So I would approach those and say that those are kind of glue scripts. As far as like from a Python perspective, what you're doing from building things from the ground up, I would say that you do. And it's kind of hard to say. Coming from my perspective of, if you're using Python, then you're probably using, PyTorch. You're using TensorFlow, which those are pretty awesome, right? They're cutting edge tools for deep learning, but there's also a layer of abstraction that goes to that, right? So we talked about it on this channel before around, are you using C++ or C, for developing data science, and people are doing that not as widely as Python. And one of the reasons is, from a Python perspective, you're able to abstract and be able to use, different higher level abstraction layers. The cool thing is, like, I'm going through TensorFlow right now and I'm building a course around TF-Learn, and TF-Learn is actually just an abstraction layer over TensorFlow. So like even the 140 lines of code that you might write for a TensorFlow script to be able to run and train a model, you can write it in 40 lines of TF learning. So if you think about it, we're kind of all building that on. But if you really wanted to get down into it, that 140 of TensorFlow that's all written here in Python, you can look it down and see how much C++ is kind of behind it. So it's kind of gonna. I said I wasn't gonna say it depends, and it doesn't, because I think you have to use both. But depending on the organization. So you said that you're a software developer right now. You go into an organization, and really it's going to depend on their culture to some extent, and you're going to have times that you are writing glue scripts. But if you're building something up from the ground up, from that perspective, I don't know that Python's going to be the choice. But if you're talking about from the perspective of, hey, I want to be in code, I want to be doing this a lot, then yeah, it's going to be amazing for you. You're going to enjoy that. You're going to love that. I really like kind of going through and learning new abstraction layers, learning new tools. So, it's fun for me right now to be jumping in and going, heads in with TensorFlow and using that. So if that's what you're looking for, then man, it's going to be an amazing thing. If you're trying to shy away from, the glue, the glue scripts and, some of the data munging and some of the other things, then I will say that there's going to be some challenges in a traditional data engineering or especially a machine learning engineering role, because it's still all about, finding that data set, because the data is the most valuable asset to most organizations. If you look at it, TensorFlow, Caffe, those are the secret sauces that are running, Google and Facebook, and they just kind of released it because they know the secret sauce is really in the data. So, that's another video to talk about sometime in the future around, the value of knowing your data. But as a coder, you're going to be happy. You're going to be able to build the scripts that you want and be able to do it. Just make sure, just like with any other role, make sure the culture at the company that you're at or where you're going has that has that ability to where we're not just copying and pasting stuff on from GitHub. Who does that? Okay, maybe. So until next time, I'll see you again for the next episode of Big Data, Big Questions. Make sure you subscribe.